So I don't know about you, but I like to motivate myself to stay skinny. And one thing that does that is by watching local news cable, because they'll always have these stories like, breaking news, super diabetes is back. But then the footage they show is like zoom in on like fat people. It's like zoom in on bellies, fupas, ass, cheeks, boobies, anything that's just fatty looking. And my biggest question is like, who's filming that? Like, is it intern Shelly who has to hit the streets and is like, ma'am, you're fat. Can I film you for local cable? Because we have a story today about people losing their toes to diabetes. It's great. We can film that. I also love local news transitions because I think intern Shelly is also writing for them because it'll be like, this summer popsicle sales were up, but dogs at the pound were down. More after traffic and weather. I'm like, damn, that was not funny at all. It was really sad. Do you ever get like a news alert on your phone though, and it's like, you're like, oh my gosh, like, it's like, so-and-so's died, a celebrity's died. And you're like, wow, I have no clue who that fucking celebrity is. That'll be like the extra from Indiana Jones. And you're like, I guess he had his last crusade. My new favorite thing about like going to the grocery store is that every food product now is like made with extra protein. It'll be like waffles with protein, lettuce with protein, and it just feels healthier. Like you could be like, I bought this gallon of lard because it's now with protein, so I felt like it was really healthy because, it's just with protein, right? My favorite show in the reality division is Four Weddings on TLC. And if you've never seen it, it's when four brides rate each other's weddings, right? And so they then will be like, it was a great time. The DJ was fantastic. The dancing was fun. The reception was beautiful. I cried during the vows. But the asparagus on the entree was cold. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. And you're like, damn. But then you're like, you know what? Cold asparagus really does ruin your fucking night. Like if I was at that wedding and I got served cold asparagus, I'm like, fuck that open bar, I don't give a fuck, I'm out of here. So insulting to your guests, am I right? Another thing I have an issue with is prison names. Because some prisons are named after like rich white people, like the James B. Rutherford prison. And then you Google James B. Rutherford and it's like, a rich man who has a prison named after him. And you're like, that's your best accomplishment, is that you got a prison named after? Imagine like going to dinner parties like, hi, I'm James B. Rutherford of the James B. Rutherford prison. Yes. We're really great about sentencing people to their maximum terms. It's a great time. But then some prisons will be like the complete opposite, where it's like, I sentence you to 20 years at Pleasant Valley Prison. And you're like, Pleasant Valley Prison? That sounds like a spa getaway with the girls. Like, we're getting the cucumber slices on our eyes. We're just gonna, like, forget about our boy troubles at Pleasant Valley Prison, That's the prison studio that has, like, a studio recording booth or whatever. Those fancy Norwegian prisons. That's that one. I really hate the baby gender reveal shit. I'm not about it. But if there was such a thing as a baby personality reveal test, that I would show up for. Can you imagine it's like, oh my gosh, your baby's gonna be a bitch. Yes. So fucking sassy. We're like, oh, little Johnny's gonna be a fuckboy when he grows up. Ah, yay! Runs in the family, isn't that right, James B. Rutherford? I do declare. I feel like James B. Rutherford has that I do declare voice to him. I'm really bad at small talk. This one time I was with an acquaintance at the bar and I was like, how's that girlfriend of yours? And he goes, you mean my fiance that I've been dating for 6 years? And I was like, well, I'm glad you're still together. I knew it was a little rough for a while. But awkwardly shuffling away, like, oh, there's someone I know. I really hate when people use the word stoic as a compliment, because it's not. When you're like, oh, Great Aunt Jean is real stoic, you're basically saying Great Aunt Jean's a bitch. Stoic's not a thing. I was on a Zoom call earlier this week, and this one employee had her baby on her lap, and this other employee was like, your baby looks so sturdy. And I was like, that's not a compliment. You're just calling that a baby fat. What a sturdy baby. Like, imagine rolling up to the playground and someone's like, that's a sturdy baby. Recently that trended on Twitter was a McDonald's Engagement. So one guy, they both were working at McDonald's, and the one guy got on his knees, which I gotta say, getting on your knees on a McDonald's doesn't sound great. It feels really greasy. Feels like you're getting like messed up, grease pads on your knees. And so the other lady, she's like making coffee, because you know how the McDonald's coffee is like fucking lava. They get that shit straight out of the fucking earth. Pull that up. She turns around, and the guy's on it, and he's like, will you marry me? And she goes, yes. And then all the McDonald's employees stopped working and did that weird Mexican restaurant birthday clap thing. Happy, happy birthday, except it's like the engagement, like, oh, they're getting engaged. And I'm like, okay, it's cute, whatever, but like, can you imagine being at that McDonald's that day? I feel like that shit's backed up. Like, I've been waiting 10 minutes for a McDouble. They're back there having like the engagement toast, like, cheers! Here's some of that Sprite that's like fucking crack, like, cheers. I really applaud Cedar Point's commitment to diversity. Because have you ever gone to Cedar Point? It's like all the gay guys in Ohio work there. Because you'll like get in the ride, it's like, welcome to Cedar Point, it's me, Jeremy, and I just want to wish you a great ride today. The ride's gonna go 69 miles per hour. Just kidding, it's the Junior Gemini. So you want to hold into your seats and let me just come around. Oh, is that the handlebar? Are you happy to see me? Thank you. And go! And I gotta say, it sounds dramatic, but like the straight fucking employees at the Cedar Point, they're like, here, have a fun ride. And you're just like, oh, okay, well now the ride's fucking ruined. Like you were so excited, like, oh, we're gonna go to the Millennium Force. Have a good ride. I'm like, okay, guess it'll be good. Yay. The worst feeling in the world is when you see your phone light up that you got matched on Tinder, and then you go on Tinder to find that they've dematched with you. They were like, so busy swiping right, and then they're like, fuck, this fatty, no, we gotta get out of here. It's like a heist mission, like, we got 30 seconds to get out of here before he clicks on the message and tries to like us. It's like, you gotta get out of there. It's kind of like when you're in the mood for ice cream. You're like, I just want ice cream. And then you go home, and there's only like sausage and ice cubes in the freezer. And you're like, I guess I'll make a sausage smoothie? I don't know. It's like, no ice cream. Meanwhile, like the LGBT Cedar Point employees like, a sausage smoothie! It's like, after work. I love, here's a confession. I love texting while driving. But the problem is I have no friends to text, so I can't do it. Instead, I will end up like texting, like writing down my like grocery store order, be like eggs, milk, cheese. And like I kind of imagine like if I ever like die because of it, like those commercials where it's like, before he died, his last text message was, where are you, ? And mine's like, before he died, he was writing the ingredients for buffalo chicken dip. It's like, it's such a sad ending. Another thing with cars though is I feel like it's more orgasmic than an orgasm when you beat the GPS. You know, when the GPS is like, it'll take 28 minutes to get to your destination. And you're like, I can do this in 26. Fuck that. And then you're going like 90 down the highway just to beat the GPS. And then you beat the GPS, you're like, in the car. Like, just, fuck you, Jeff Bezos. And I don't know what he has to do with it, but. I gotta tell you one thing. Everyone likes to tell me that I should do acting. They're like, you're such an actor. And the thing is, in Cleveland, you know, the two opportunities you can do is commercials and modeling. And I'm not hot enough to do commercials, so there's no way in hell I can do modeling. Because, like, imagine seeing my face on, like, low-fat yogurt and being like, oh, this guy didn't lose fat on this yogurt? Like, fuck this product. I'm gonna go with Jamie Lee Curtis. That bitch is regular on Activia. That's what you get. I feel like, though, it could be believable, like, certain products with my face on it. If it's, like, Grease Be Gone is a product, and I'm, like, on the cover, it's like, oh, he looks less greasy. That product worked on him. Or if there was, like, a pamphlet that was, like, sexual predators in your neighborhood, and it's me, like, it's like, oh, shit. Like, I need to protect myself against people like those vagrants. Shit. One question that keeps me up late at night is, what the hell happened to Quiznos? Those used to be on every fucking block. They were like Starbucks, where you like couldn't like look in any direction without seeing one of those bitches. And I remember like they had the fresh squeezed lemonade, right? And I swear they would like sponsor the Super Bowl. Like I can hear it, like Super Bowl 46 sponsored by Quiznos. Like, that sounds believable, right? And they have a great catchline, because their catchline is, toasty, which you can use naturally in a conversation. You know, like, oh man, it's really hot out here. Yeah, it's toasty. Try using Arby's, we got the meats casually in a sentence. You can't do it. Anytime it's like, oh honey, could you go to the grocery store and get some protein? Maybe that lettuce with protein that they have now? You're like, yes, I'll get the meats. It's like, oh geez. Put that guy in the cover of the fucking Sexual Predator magazine, seriously. I'll leave you with one thing. So my sister is a mom, and you know how like moms like to mom and shit, right? Like, I can't let my kid eat white bread because I'm a mom. I have to have the flax whole grain bullshit because that's what my kids deserve, because my kids are the best. That's kind of how moms do. I also hate when moms are like, my son is 144 months old. It's like, bitch, no, your son's 12. Cut it out. After 18 months, your son's 2. I'm sorry, it's so annoying. 132 months. Like, no, stop it. So my sister was at I feel like some playground or I don't know, whatever moms do. And she meets this mom who's a single mom to a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. And my sister, being a nosy bitch like me, runs in the family, was like, what's it like being a single mom? And the lady goes, oh, well, my kids think their dad is Bing Crosby. Pause. Bing Crosby is the guy who sings White Christmas, that I'm dreaming of a white, from like the 1930s. And fun fact about Bing Crosby, he's been dead since the 80s. So unless this skank bitch broke into a celebrity sperm bank, I just imagine she had like stilettos on and like the glass was really thin, she just kicked in there and was like, okay, Johnny Depp, no, we don't want that. Bing Crosby, we're gonna steal that sperm out of every celebrity. Unless that happened, there's no way her kids are Bing Crosby's kids. Just no way. So my sister goes, well, how do they handle that? Like, what's the therapy that your kids, how's that going? They go, well, they think that their dad is on a 24/7 tour and is never home because he's touring all the time. And I'm like, of course, that makes sense. You know, everyone around the world wants to go see Bing Crosby. He's booked all dates of the year, right? And she goes, well, that is really sad. And the lady goes, you know, we just play Bing Crosby year-round on the vinyl. And that's how we deal with it. Imagine being that neighbor. It's like fucking April and you're cutting the grass and you hear like, I'm dreaming, oh. I'm like, that's fucked up. I feel bad for the neighbor. But I kind of imagine the situation being like one Christmas, Bing Crosby's being played in the background. And the mom goes, kids, listen up. Your dad was not Bing Crosby. Your dad was a guy I met in a Quiznos bathroom, and was it toasty, kids? That's my time.